just to remind you. And we're talking today about women and lupus. And to do justice to this topic today, I have with me Dr. Igebu Etsiogena. She is a consultant rheumatologist at LASUTH. And also, I have with me Sanusi Fauzat Olubukola. She is a lupus survivor and the director of the Lureg Support Foundation. A very good evening to you, ladies. Great to have you with me in the studio.
Yeah, good evening. We are glad to be here.
Good evening, everybody.
All right, so let's actually get right into this. Many people have probably heard or haven't heard about lupus before because a number of people I've spoken to at different points, they've said what is lupus? What is lupus? They don't know what exactly it is, and it just makes you wonder how widespread or how mainstream this actually is. Looking at its prevalence out there. So let's take a look at what exactly lupus is. Can you just walk us through what it is?
Okay. Lupus is short for systemic lupus erythematosus. It's an autoimmune disease, and an autoimmune disease means that the body sees itself as foreign and then attacks itself. So you have the body is supposed to fight germs, fight toxins, fight things that are foreign to them,
Hmm.
but there's dysregulation in the immune system, meaning that the body tries to attack itself and then says, okay, these are toxins, seemingly toxins, foreign bodies, and starts to destroy the cells. And so simply that's what lupus is all about.
Oh wow! Just hearing that description, the body kind of attacking itself. That to the layman out there, that sounds extremely scary. The thought that, oh, my body can actually do this to itself. All right. Well, before we go on, just to let you know that you can be a part of the conversation on Smooth Health. You can send your messages in via WhatsApp to 0809 440 981. You can also tweet at smooth at smooth981 FM on Twitter with the hashtag Smooth Health 981. All right, now, so let's take a look at the common symptoms of lupus. How does one know that, oh, maybe I have lupus? How does a doctor come to the conclusion that, oh, somebody has lupus?
Okay. So I said is it systemic. Anything that is systemic, it can affect any system in the body. And the body is made up of system. So lupus will have symptoms that are really vague. So somebody will be like, oh, constitutional symptoms will call them. I'm fatigued all the time. I do something.
Mm,
I wake up in the morning and I'm still tired. I'm losing weight. I'm having this fever that I can't explain, and it comes and goes. And it's usually recurrent because I feel good today. 1 month later, I have symptoms. So lupus is also known for its skin manifestation. So
okay.
they come with mouth sores, recurrent, comes and it goes. And then some photosensitivity rash, meaning that you have rashes in the sun exposed place of the body. So you may have rashes in your face, in your
In
arms.
your
If you
arms,
wear
okay.
shorts, you can have rashes on your skin.
Mm,
Sometimes they can have the renal manifestations. So patients will, survivors will say, okay, sometimes I notice that I urinate and my urine is foamy. I don't know what's happening. Sometimes they can say, okay, I'm coughing, different symptoms because it's so systemic that it can affect anything. So sometimes they can start having psychosis. So you have
oh
neural
wow.
manifestations, have headaches that they can't explain, sometimes even seizures and then stroke. So it's a wide variety of symptoms. But when it's all put together, as they say that when you see a patient with lupus, you have to think, you have to do a lot of investigation. When you don't understand your symptoms, you can't put it into this system or that system. Then it's time for you to see a doctor, or better still, see a rheumatologist.
All right, very very interesting. So now, Fauza, let me bring you in here. You are a lupus survivor. You've battled this condition. How has it been ever since the point where you finally got the diagnosis and you know you on a day-to-day basis up till this point?
Yeah, let me just say a very big thank you to our doctor. They actually made it a wonderful journey. because
Mm.
personally I noticed I had lupus since 2008 after my first delivery,
Oh, wow.
and
That's a
that's
long
about
time.
14 years ago.
Mm.
So I had 10 years of wrong diagnosis. Doctors were guessing. No, doctors don't know about lupus. Most of them were just like these symptoms, this and that. I was in and out of hospital from one ailment to another. Then I was wrongly diagnosed for a lot of things. And I took in a lot of medications I wasn't meant to
That you
take.
did not need at all.
Exactly. So it's complicated a whole lot of things. Come 2018, I have another brother that used to work in the north. So I was like, you have seen a lot of things. So I think you should have seen this. So when he saw that I had malarash going worse because a dermatologist was handling my case,
Okay.
she got it right. When my brother took me to a dermatologist and she was like, wow, this is lupus. Then she said, permit me, madam, to call in all our students to see lupus. I said, please let them see and give me life because
Mm.
it is depressive. Then they got it right as lupus, but it was a dermatologist. So I was
That
under
actually got
got it
the
right.
diagnosis.
So I was underdosed. So lupus fought back wide. You
Mm.
taking on something is like you're attacking me. So you want to kill me, then it comes like I will attack you too. That is just it. It's like the army of a nation fighting the nation, then seeing that the nation is already retaliating, then start picking all my organs.
Ah.
You understand? So it got to the kidney, but not at a very bad level. So when I noticed it has gotten to my kidney, I was feeling that sharp pain.
Okay.
Then I had to scream. I had to do a video that went viral. I told people to please help me. I'm dying. I need someone to please come to my aid. So, when the video went, I actually thought I would die because
At that
at
point in
that
time.
point in time, I don't sleep anymore. For about a year, I don't sleep. Like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, I don't sleep at all because I had malarish all over my body, and then there was no body part to lay down.
Ah.
You understand?
It
So
must have been extremely
you can,
traumatic.
it's very traumatic. So I kept doing things. I kept doing things unstoppable. I have a school. I just kept creating programs, believing that it will soon end. So it's not been easy. Then, with the cost of maintaining it,
Mm.
it's crazy.
I can just imagine now. Now, Doctor, so again, this issue of wrong diagnosis, is it extremely common to get wrong diagnosis?
So yes, it's common. I won't say extremely common. Is improving. Like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years ago, a lot of people didn't know about lupus. Some doctors didn't know about lupus. Lupus wasn't really emphasized and taught in the medical school. But now with it's a major topic. Rheumatology is a major topic in medical school. We have
Mm.
more rheumatologists
Okay.
now. So medical students are exposed to rheumatology. They are seeing patients. There's a compulsory rotation now, so they understand the diagnosis. And we are doing a lot of awareness program. Like we have the Lupus Day. We talk to medical officers because usually they are the first point of call before you see a specialist, and try to educate them. So yes, there were a lot of mixed diagnosis, under diagnosis, and the spiritual aspect, because it's something that is vague, so people don't typically understand it. So you, rather than even going to see the doctor, you're sick today, you're well tomorrow, every time you're in the hospital, why don't we just use the spiritual approach? And they always feel like it's a spiritual attack. So we sometimes lose some of these patients to the churches, to the traditional healers and the imams. So really and truly, sometimes we really have to work with more of awareness, public awareness, and medical practitioner awareness.
Mm. All right. Now, according to a number of different things I've read and I've seen thus far about lupus, it attacks, or it tends to affect more women than men. To start with, I mean, 9 out of 10 people, it's women who are more at risk of getting this condition. So, what are some of the risk factors for developing lupus?
Okay. Ayo, you're really right. Is commoner in women and females more than men. Ratio 9 to 1. So
Mm.
for every 9 women that have it, one man will
We'll
have
have
it.
it.
So estrogen plays a factor in it. So estrogen has been implicated. The X chromosome is the female chromosome. The X chromosome has been implicated.
Mm.
Family history of lupus or any autoimmune disease has been implicated, risk factors. Cigarette smoking has been implicated to it. Some other heavy metals has been implicated. So they are all risk factors, but also you sometimes have to have a genetic predisposition, meaning that it is genetic, it's in your genes, and then you have an environmental factor for it to have the interplay between the genetic and the environmental factor for it to manifest. So excluding the genetic, we have something we call epigenetic. So it might not be as inherited from the father or the mother. It could be the process of fertilization where the egg meets with the sperm and something goes wrong, and then you have epigenetic abnormality in that process. And then you have the predisposition, then you are in contact with the environmental factor, and they present with lupus.
All the conditions are ready in that.
Already, you are already there, and then you need something just needs to pull the trigger, and then you now have the manifestation of the illness.
But looking at the fact that there's a genetic predisposition here, is there any way anyone can, should I say, find out or check? Like, for example, someone whose parent has the condition and looks, okay, my mom had the condition. Is there any way that I can, find out for myself? Will I develop the condition as well?
Okay, so there's so when you have a genetic predisposition, as I said, you have to have an environmental factor. So the environmental factor, even if you're exposed to it, which can be virus, even the sunlight, some metals, doesn't mean that you will necessarily even present with it. So you can't, there's no genetic testing yet, but a lot of trials are going on. We're doing a lot of collaboration because lupus typically affects people from African descent more than the Caucasians. So we are doing a lot of ongoing research with Ghana, with Nigerians, people from other parts of Asia. So we're doing a lot of research to find out that can we pinpoint some of these genes and actually test for it. But presently, there's no genetic test that precisely you can say that, okay, maybe I should screen for this. So we just educate you that it's familiar, you might not have it, but then know about the symptoms. So if you start to have these symptoms, you have to have joint pains everywhere, you have to start to have skin rashes, you start to feel unwell, you don't know.
When the symptoms become more apparent and more regular.
And then you come, and if you're worried, you can say, okay, if you're worried, then we have classification criteria. We'll say, based on this, your symptoms are in keeping with lupus, so let's investigate you further.
All right, very interesting. All right, we need to go on a very quick break here, but on the other side, we'll continue the conversation on Smooth Health. We're talking about women and lupus. Stay tuned.
Smooth Health on the Drive. This is Smooth Health on the Drive.
Are you sure I've done this before?
I haven't. I've never been on TV.
Yeah, giving you that vibe.
When I take those doctors, I always like, why?
You don't do this.
You're giving me that vibe of using,
I think that you're even a presenter. It's inbuilt, you are bringing it out.
Yeah.
I asked that question because ever since we knew, okay, Mom had
What's in baby?
the first thing that actually comes to
What's
mind
in
is,
baby now?
are we susceptible to it? That was like one of my first thoughts.
It could have even also been an epi. Yes, it's familiar, genetic. It could even have been just her. There can be one person in the whole family, in the whole generation, that will have it. So it can be genetic, it can be epigenetic. When there's, because a lot of things go on when the egg meets fertilization, embryogenesis, a lot of things go on. So there might be just a little abnormality, and then you can present. So it's something to watch. It's something to, if the woman has it, we look for it, because the problem is the challenge is when she's pregnant, because the child can take some of the antibodies. It's an autoimmune, so you have antibodies. The child can take some of the antibodies. So at that point, and we check for the antibodies. If the child doesn't have the antibodies, or the mother didn't get some of the symptoms, we just wait and watch. Watchful waiting. There's no point screaming, getting worried. You might skip your generation and your generation after.
Okay, so that's
good to know.
That's basically all you can do. Just wait and watch.
Yes.
sit and watch. I mean, when you already know, okay,
Breakfast
My
is
mom
on
look
the
out for
menu.
this,
Yeah.
look out for this, look out
Yes,
for this.
yes, yeah.
So once you see
Wake
something,
up and
Yes.
smell the coffee.
It's not like
for the
cancer now.
perfect
Okay,
start to your day.
some parents have colon cancer. At a certain age, you should go and do a colonoscopy. Go and do a test. No, you understand. If you there's no test that can say okay, let's rule it out because it's genetic. It's the genes you are looking at interplay. What genetic thing? But we are evolving. Lupus is really. I really typically understand the fact that she would have gone everywhere, and it's so sad. I feel so
the
sorry
same
for
thing that we went
Yes.
through, all the tests we did,
Mommy,
So-
that his mommy was
Yes, see, I didn't meet her, so yeah.
it's not easy.
Yes, they go
Then it's
everywhere.
become really like looking diabolic. She only are becoming successful in life.
Yes.
Something just came.
Right. So it's always there's no patient that hasn't said it was a
And you
spiritual
know
attack.
one thing,
I have
every lupus patient has this thing.
we need to go back.
Very-
brilliant.
Yes, you're very intelligent.
Very, very.
All right, studio. All right, it's the second half of Smooth Health on the Smooth Drive on Smooth 98.1 FM. And we've been talking about women and lupus. And with me in the studio, still talking about this issue, is Dr. Igebo Esiogena. She's a consultant rheumatologist at Lasuth and Sanusi Fauzat Olubukola. She is a lupus survivor and director of the Lureg Support Foundation. Now, Fauzat, let me just come to you really quickly. And you're talking about the Lureg Support Foundation. How did that come about?
Okay. Yeah, actually, like I said, in 2018, I got to know I had lupus. And then, like 2020, it came really bad.
Hmm.
So I had to like go viral looking for help. Then my husband sat with me and said, "What is wrong with you? Why will you do this to us? Why will you just go viral without telling me blah blah blah?" I said, "Look, you don't understand. No matter how I explain this pain, you don't understand. Let people talk to me, they've seen this thing before. Let me see somebody suffering from it come to my head." Then my sister-in-law abroad now told me, "Wow, you had this all the while, you didn't speak to me." I have a friend that has been living for it for 18 years. And we
Oh,
got
wow.
talking. Then the lady gave me like, "You're going to survive it. You just have to see a rheumatologist." When we had rheumatologist, we now went online, rheumatologist in Lagos State. Then we got the like of Dr. Olaoshibiko.
Hmm.
Then immediately the same day we went to him and he said to my husband, "She will be fine. This is what she is going through. She has malar rash about 100 on her back, on her body. Every malar rash is acting like a weak load. One malar rash
Wow.
is acting like a weak load.
And I know how terrible with is.
So
I've
you
had
know
it on
how
my finger
terrible weak
before.
load is. So having hundreds of it all around your body, whipping at the same time, it whips, it pains, it itches, and this terrible, unexplainable biting pain. You can't even explain it.
Hmm.
So he was like, "Wow, is that what she's going through?" Then he was like, "Let her start the normal doses of her drug. She's doing fine." So I started the doses, and then Lupus was like, "So you want to kick me out of your body?" The fight was like a rough fight, like we call it. And then I was just like, my husband said, "You won't leave my sight. I will take you everywhere I go."
Hmm.
So he wanted to go for a meeting out of Lagos. Then I was with him in the car. Then the body started again. So the second day I had to be rushed down to the critical care unit for
Oh, wow.
emergencies. So I had to start the proper lupus treatment. So me standing here, it's a survival of a year and 4 months. So if I can be like this in a year and 4 months, everybody can survive lupus. So I took it upon me, took me to resilience. It's
Hmm.
made me understand God more. It made me, I have no hate. I don't hate anymore.
After
It's made
everything you've
after
been
everything
through.
I've been through, I don't want to see anybody in pain. And I told Dr. Ola, why is it that there is nobody telling me about this before now? Why should I go through this route to suffer this much? And do you have lupus patient at all? And I told him in Yoruba, lupus, what is Shiarawo?
Hmm.
Mo ti gbé ẹdìyẹ aláròyé, mo ti gbé tó ṣe máa ń ro ẹjọ́ ẹ̀ka sáyé. So sincerely speaking, I've taken it as a call from God. Let me tell you something about lupus is that it looks diabolic. If you channel your energy towards being diabolic, you become a little what you don't die. People will be seeing you as a power something because we get inspirations. You that you don't sleep, you don't do anything, and you are doing it positively.
Hmm.
Awake and writing books, awake and writing your story, awake and writing doing choreographies, reading the books, either the Bible or the Quran, you look like a small god
Mm.
because you do it with all your strength. And if you channel it towards the evil end, you truly become like a little power god. But if you channel it positively, you will become what you say. So it's been a very word. I took it up like, no, let's keep talking to people about it. The more the awareness, the better. The earlier you get to know you have lupus and you start your treatment immediately, you are going to survive it. And people will not even know you have lupus. You understand? And once you meet people, like first healing is hope on God that one day it will end. Second is that getting to see somebody that have it and talk to them, to share your experience, to understand that it is for now it is like a terminal illness, but that is manageable. I can recall one of our aged one that she 65. She gave us hope that like no, you can't reach 65. So if you talk to someone that have it, it is one hope. Oh, you're living with lupus. I'm also we have people that are stigmatized that cannot even come out because the battle rash is on their face. Mine was not on my face, it was on my back and my upper head extremist.
But anybody who sees you would not even know that
No,
you're going
that
through
is
anything.
because mine is eating. I have people that have it that cannot go out. You think they have cancer?
It's that bad.
Very bad.
Hmm.
You know? So that is the just leg was birthed out of resilience. I need to inspire people to don't sleep in your pains.
To keep fighting.
Yeah, you have to keep fighting. You don't sleep, you take your pain as a ladder, you climb. Then you will hook your purpose of being alive. It's rediscovery for me. It made me rediscover that I actually could motivate people to live in. So that is why I started Lorraine.
All right, now that's actually very inspirational.
So,
Right before,
like,
sorry, Doctor, I'm actually going to ask you about treatment now because it's a very important part of this. But before I do that, just to remind the listeners that if you have any questions about this for the doctor here, and of course Fauzat, who has battled this and she's still kicking on, and is a survivor of lupus, you can send your WhatsApp messages to 0809440981. All right, so doctor, you were saying before.
Okay, so I wanted to agree with Fauzat on lupus people being very intelligent. So it doesn't. So that is a wrong notion that with lupus your life expectancy is reduced. You can't do much with life. But then we found out that our lupus patients are very smart, very intelligent. They have distinctions. They have first class. They do very well. You have a very intelligent conversation with them. But another thing that scares a lot of people, as he said, and everybody has agreed, it affects female more than male. So a lupus patient sits with you. First time comes with her mother, and the next thing, am I going to get married? Am I going to have kids? So that's the first thing. And so we always try to encourage them. And I tell them that you can have as much kids as you want and you can get married. So we tell you that at the point in which you're going to get married, so I was very happy with Faiza when she said that her spouse was with her. We always encourage you to come with your spouse because he would then understand the process. We take time a lot to counsel our patients, tell the man sexual intercourse is possible, kids are possible. We just make sure that your lupus is at its lowest level with medications and then you can have kids. I always tell them about this girl. She was 13 when she was diagnosed with lupus.
Wow,
and her manifestation was neuropsychiatry. She was having seizures. And she's 34 now and she has 3 children. So it doesn't, and she's had it for that long. And you see her, she's doing well with her career and she's going on with her life. She got married, her husband was in the know, and she had a lot of family support. So it doesn't stop you. No reduction in life expectancies. You can attain your goals. It's just an illness like any other chronic illness. So another thing, why can't I be cured? So we have those kind of responses. And we always advise them. I tell them, people that have hypertension, do they have cure? We manage it. So we will continue to manage it. Manage it. So you're supposed to be close to your doctors for follow-up and then for medications and encourage the support group. If somebody has something and tells you that I've dealt with this in this way, you just don't feel you are not alone. You know that, okay, I have a support group, I have a family. So we call them lupus survivors, lupus warriors, and we encourage this support group. And every time we have Lupus Day, they are always there and they're always present to support each other.
All right,
So
so
yeah.
doctor, really quickly, because of time, what treatment options are available? I mean, is it expensive? Is it readily available? What are the options out there?
Okay. So the treatments available, um treatments available, and there are more drug trials going on everywhere in the world and getting better drugs with lesser side effects. So yes, some of them are expensive, especially when you have organ manifestation. So what we have done is that with the help of so we can't have a conversation without calling Professor Adelowo. He's done a lot for lupus.
Mm,
He's the foremost rheumatologist. He's the mentor, father of rheumatology. He's the first person that, with the growth of rheumatology in Nigeria. So he's done a lot. He's tried to help us put some of these drugs in the National Health Insurance Scheme. So
okay.
the insurance company can subsidize the cost.
Mm,
Also, what we have done, we have engaged some of these top pharmaceutical companies. How can you give us a rebate for our patients? What can you do for our patients to reduce the cost? The drugs are available, but patients pay out of pocket most times.
and that is extremely difficult for a country where the economical situation
It's
is
it's
is terrible.
is terrible. So we have to support them everywhere. And so it's always a negotiation. What can you afford? Okay, I can't afford this drug. We have conversations with our patients. Okay, we're going to give you a cheaper drug. It will work, but this is how we can do. Can you get families with written letters to churches for patients, their employers, to people? So with availability, every drug can be sourced for now. So every drug is almost available, but some of them are easier to come by, and then we try as much as possible to give you the cheapest medication that is
Okay.
affordable and can give us the benefit we want and reduce the risk of any illness or side effects.
All right, let's take a message or a few messages here really quickly. This is from Ali, and he says, "Shout out to you guys in the studio. Very insightful. What should someone with lupus avoid?" That's number one. Then number two, this is from Dio. He says, "Good evening, all. I recently heard about this condition when a Nollywood actress recently came out to the open with it. Why then did doctors allegedly give some patients time they have left, according to the story of the actress?"
Yeah, I was with Kemi Afolabi when I heard her story, and that day I had to talk to her on phone that, look, you will make it. She was like, do you have lupus? I said, yeah, I have lupus. I've been living with it for some time. I said, oh,
Mm,
send me your house address. And I was with her. I told her you will make it, and she was like, it is terrible. Then I asked, why would your doctor give you 5 years? I met the doctor. It's still the same prof. That is the father of rheumatologists, the same person we talk to. No doctor will ever tell you this is when you will die.
mm,
Probably, I tell you, lupus take us to the other end of the world. It takes everything away, even the mental health and everything. It is an expressional stuff. She has also even, we just talk at times like the way we feel, and the media will help you escalate whatever you see
yeah,
to
that's true.
sweeten the what people wants to hear.
Mm,
I still chat Kemi Afolabi last week because she also is one of the people that is currently trying to help us get lupus known to the world. That
mm,
so she did not doctor. Dr. Adelaw will never tell you you have something. No doctor will do that. Because I personally spoke with Dr. Adelaw too, and he said, why we would have done that when we want people to have hope to live.
exactly.
You understand? I've been
Exactly.
living with
That's the
lupus for,
opposite of
yeah,
what is
I've been
trying to be
living it
done.
with it for 14 years. I got to know it was lupus, and 14 years gone. And yes, I just got to know it was lupus 4 years
I'm
ago,
still fighting.
and I'm still fighting. So
Mm,
it's not a terminal. It could be a terminal disease, manageable terminal disease,
mm,
but nobody will tell you it's 5 years. We have one of our mothers that just died at the age of 65. I have a lady from US, Susan from US, lived with lupus from the age of 5 years.
she was 5 years
She
old.
was on our last awareness.
Oh wow.
From 5 years, and yes, she is now about 30, 40 years. So
Mm,
it's just early detection and right diagnosis
and proper
and proper
management
body
as well.
management is what we are calling on the word for. It's not easy. The patient wants to manage it. So you can imagine you spending about minimum of 100,000 on only medication
That is,
monthly, just to manage,
not too many
not
people can
using
afford that.
not using the expensive ones,
Mm,
just to buy the ordinary brand, then spending the same amount on meals. So we call
mm,
on people for that, please.
All right. We've actually come to the end of the program, but really, really quickly, doctor, what advice would you have for anyone who has just been recently diagnosed with the condition?
So I would say to you, you can live your life to the fullest. It is not a death sentence. You don't have less than 5 years to live, and just be drug compliant. Also, inform your family. Don't stigmatize yourself. Sometimes we stigmatize ourselves before other people stigmatize us. So don't stigmatize. Share. Join a support group. Talk to your doctor. You can talk to your doctor about everything. Read up, and then at the end of the day, it's like any other illness, and it can be managed. Maybe not a cure, but it can be managed, and you can live your life to its fullest.
All right. Thank you so much, doctor. And we've come to the end of Smooth Health on the Drive on Smooth 98.1 FM. Dr. Igebo Esiogena, consultant rheumatologist at LASUT, and of course, Sanusi Fauzat Olubukola. She's a lupus survivor and the director of Lureg Support Foundation. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming in today to be part of this. I appreciate you here very much.
Thank you.
All right, the Smooth Drive continues. Don't forget, at 7 p.m. it'll be time for Total Football. Yes, as I said before, Total Football crew are ready to give you the latest information in the football world. Do stay tuned to Smooth 98.1, your love music, love life station.
Health on the Drive.
And it's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Doctor, hey, you're a presenter.
This is Smooth Health on the Drive.
I think I'll forward your name to my program director. Maybe I'll just find space for you.
Oh.